Welcome to the podcast Selling Real Estate with Kelly Cook, where we will discuss the latest and most relevant business strategies to help you do one thing extremely well: sell more homes. We'll discuss everything from business planning to lead generation and conversion to past client customer service and everything in between. Join us for authentic conversations and nuts and bolts takeaways you can implement into your business today. And now, Selling Real Estate with Kelly Cook.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Selling Real Estate with Kelly Cook. We've got Mr. Kelly Cook in the building with us, or in his building on our screens, or in your ears with you. Kelly, how are you doing today?
Fantastic. Better than I deserve, Dave Ramsey. Better than I deserve.
Great. So this podcast is called Selling Real Estate with Kelly Cook, which in most of our episodes, you guessed it, we're talking about selling real estate in some shape or form, or investing in real estate. It's real estate related. Today, we're going to dive in a little bit more than selling real estate. I think we've talked a lot about how, and hopefully if you're an agent, you've kind of learned a little bit on how to sell a house, right? And we give you ways to make that go better. But today we're going to talk about a little bit different of a sales process, and that's selling your services essentially, right? And how
Correct.
You need to have, we talk about systems for everything when it comes to business.
That word again, systems.
Kelly loves systems, and there is a sales process that you should be following and not just, as Kelly said, winging it a couple of minutes ago. He said most agents just go out there and wing it, but you really should have a sales process. So, Kelly, let's jump into it. I know this is something that you were excited to talk about because it's some questions and things that you're getting on your team right now. So you're not only telling this to everybody else, but this is something that you are going through with your own team right now as well, as kind of retraining that process.
Yeah, no doubt about it. This is one good thing about talking to somebody, listening to somebody who's actually in the business, is somebody who's actually in the trenches and actually still selling real estate still as well. I think that's what separates me from some of the people who may have large followings on podcasts or whatever it may be. I'm still selling real estate now. Am I, on lead rotation, converting leads, every 5 seconds, with the 5-minute rule and speed of lead and all that stuff every time? No, not necessarily, but I'm still very attuned because agents are talking about it. And I'm still talking about it with my past clients and their referrals, right? And that sort of thing. So this is very near and dear to my heart. And what we're specifically talking about today, guys, is the sales process of converting a lead who doesn't know you, let's say semi-warm or even cold, to wanting to sign an agreement with you, specifically on the buyer side. That seems to be the most elusive one, right? Traditionally, people who want to sell their house understand kind of the process and way it's been for so long that they want to sell their house. An agent needs to come out to their house and they sit down, they need to discuss things and figure out who they want to work with. While on the buyer side, for almost ever, it's always been, hey, I got a property I want to see. I need you to open the door. So can we?
A lot more casual of an experience. Yeah.
So you please meet me at the house and open the door for me. And then that's all I need you for, I think. But they don't really know because they don't know what they don't know. So anyways, now since the NAR lawsuit, it's been a little bit different, right? You're supposed to have a buyer broker sign before you see a house, whether it be to show for that one property or maybe for an agreement of 6 months or something in the future. But getting to that point can still be very challenging for a lot of people because buyers still want to just go look at the property. And they still think that they can just do it on their own. And the reality is just like a FSBO on the list side, they can. That's the reality. They can. They don't have to use an agent. Now, will their experience be 1,000 times better if they have a good agent on the buy side or the listing side? Absolutely. Will they make more money on the listing side if they have a good agent? Absolutely. Will they save more money? Get better terms on the buy side? Absolutely. But they don't know that, right? So now it's a sales process that you need to have to try to educate them as to what it is that you do. And chances are what you do is different than what other people do. The majority. Okay. So I'll tell you a quick story. I was actually getting a garage door. I needed a new garage door for a rental property of mine. And I don't have a go-to, that's something you don't get a lot of, right? So I don't have a go-to hey, John's my go-to garage door guy, So I was like, okay, let me call a couple companies. Some companies that I may have heard before or knew, whatever, right, familiar with. Well, I called one of them specifically who's the largest garage door company by far in Arizona, and they're in several states, multiple states. The owner is actually well known, and he's extremely wealthy because he started all these companies and blah blah blah. And I know this about it just randomly, so I'm like, you know what? I'm going to call them up and get a quote. A, because their quote might be the best, and I might want to use them. But B, if I don't use them, I'll still see what their sales process is, the system. Okay, and that might be somewhat knowledgeable. And it was. And here's what they did. Okay, guys, listen to this, because this is exactly what I've been teaching. Not exactly, but close to what I've been teaching the agents on our team and anyone who will listen, like on a podcast or maybe at a real estate event. Very similar to what I've been teaching. Okay, here's what they did. Guy, they set the appointment, right? They have a person that calls you and confirms the appointment. And now this is a tenant situation, so they call the tenant as well, and they confirm what time and day and all this stuff. They go out there. When they're out there, the technician, the person in the office made sure I was going to be available between 3 and 4, whatever it was, right, when he's out there, because he'll have some questions to ask me and so on and so forth. And I said, okay, great, I'll make myself available because I want to make sure this gets coded correctly, et cetera. I mean, who wouldn't do that, right? Most people would. So I'm available. The phone rings, and he's out there, and his questions were basically to tell me what's going on, which is great, and what his recommendations are. And then he's like, look, and I go, great. What's the cost going to be for option A or option B? You know what? I don't have that specific pricing. We have actually one of our sales guys that has all that, because it changes, it fluctuates, blah blah blah. Right. So here's what he's available right now. What I want to do is get him on the line. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, fine, sure, yeah. How about get him on the line? He goes. So what's going to happen right now is I'm going to send you a link to your text. Okay. And just click on that link, and he'll be available, and what we can all be on together. I think to myself, what? A link? Okay, maybe it's a conference line. They sent me a link, and the sales guy who's in the office here in Phoenix, Arizona, it was a Zoom link. Or maybe it might have been, Google Meet, whatever, right?
But video conference,
it was a video conference. And so I'm sitting there going, and then it's a group text, right? And so I click on it. Sure enough, the garage door tech from the house, him in the office, and me are now on a Zoom. And I'm sitting there going, what, okay. And now he has the estimate pulled up, right? For option A, option B, you want to upgrade this, want to upgrade that, want to down, whatever, right? And he's going through it. And I'm like, okay. Now, me being a high D on the DISC personalized profile, I did end up cutting him off at some point and say, look, because he's going over all this stuff, but yet the total price of each one was at the bottom. He hasn't got there yet. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, look,
just
guy,
talk numbers.
Yeah. Listen, what's the price on this one? Option A. What are we talking? Well, and then finally gets to it. I go, truthfully, with all due respect, I do not need get my hand held here. I know what I'm doing to an extent. I just don't know garage doors, so I just need the price, and I'll figure out what I'm gonna do, and let's just go. I got to get going. We're all busy here. And he's like, okay, I understand. He went with the flow. He gave me because I cut him off. He's mirroring and matching. And he gave me the prices. Okay, great. And ultimately, I said, you know what? I'll be in touch. And of course, they said, listen, if you do it right, if you do it today, I'll be able to get this one for like 5% off. Because they want you to make a decision today. Time kills deals, right? And I'm like, I appreciate that, but I don't, I didn't got all my quotes yet, and blah blah blah. So I was like, I'll get back to you guys, and that's how we left it. Okay. Now I did not go with them. Ultimately, went with someone else. But about 3 days later, after they realized I wasn't going with them, I got a call from someone in the office. It wasn't the same sales guy, but that part's irrelevant, right? Goes, hey, the owner, basically she's like, hey, look, customer service survey. How do we do? What could we do better? Rate us on this, 3 questions. I'm like, sure, blah, 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 blah. And she goes, then all of a sudden she just pivots and goes, okay, now we really appreciate that, Mr. Cook. Thank you so much. Now, one thing that our owner is very passionate about is making sure that your water in everybody's household is purified and it's clean, and you don't have bad toxic chemicals in it, and so on and so forth. So what we'd like to do is we'd like to actually come out at your convenience and test your water for free, just to give you an idea of how it's looking, how it's testing, how safe is it, what maybe you're missing in the fluoride or in the water, and we can do that anytime you tell us. But right now we do have tomorrow between like noon and 4 open, and we do have the next day at 8 to 10, whatever she said, right? And I was sitting there going, wait, what? I just got a call from a garage door company. Now they're selling me.
I'm like, that was a jump.
Yeah, water purification system, right? Like but the owner owns that company too, right? And if I would let her go longer, she probably would have tried to sell me something like, I don't know, Windows or something, right? Like I have no idea. But I was thinking to myself, and I politely declined. But I was thinking to myself, this is a sales process. And I know if I said the name of the company, most people probably know it. If I said the name of the owner, people who are kind of in the know of business owners across the country that are very rich, you'd probably know the name. There's a reason. And not that you have to be a billionaire or whatever it is, right? Super rich. But if you just want to sell some more real estate, you have to have a sales process. So fast forward now, guys, stay with me on this. Now, this happened independently of another situation with another agent on our team. The agent on our team gets a phone call, or he's making calls. Someone says, "Hey, I want to see one of your listings," and he's like, "Great." Goes through. He's very polished. Goes through the process of like, tell him about the house, blah blah blah, and then he does even goes far to explain to him the just a little bit about the commission lawsuit and that there has to be something signed, that sort of thing when you go look at a property. And the guy didn't really balk. And okay, yeah. But he's a home builder in the area that kind of everyone knows. So he's not dumb. He knows exactly how this works to buy a house, and so on and so forth. So the agent decided to simply just go to the property, meet him there, and then made the decision when the guy came in to not quote unquote hound him to get something signed while he's standing in the foyer, but to show him the property. So the guy shows the property, and then at the end of the showing, he likes the property actually a little bit, may want to make an offer. He mentions that he has an agent that he works with all the time. And he goes, "Well, aren't you? But you're the listing agent, right?" And he's like, "Well, no, I'm not. Another agent on the team, Kelly, AJ, whatever. They're listing agents. But I'm here to help you as I spend on the phone to represent you if you want to buy this house on the buyer side." And he's like, "Well, yeah, but I have this agent that I work with, and I'd feel really bad if I didn't, blah blah." And so now it ended up very amicably. He left, agent left, and he decided he's going to talk to his wife, decided what he wants to do in terms of buying the house. But he didn't have anything signed. If he would have got it signed ahead of time, this would not be an issue. Or it only would be an issue with eyes wide open, going to the house, knowing you're just taking a roll to the dice. And this could go, you might have your time completely wasted because he has an agent. He doesn't want to sign anything. Okay. So I'm not trying to get into the legalities of like, well, technically you should still have something signed. Kelly's going to show the house. I'm not going to get, that's not the point of this podcast episode. The point is what I explained is the sales process that I've been teaching. And the sales process is you're on the phone talking to somebody cold. He says, "I want to see this house." So you explain to him like you normally do, the features of the house and why it benefits. And then that, the lawsuit, touch on that. And then you say, what I like to do, what's the chances that a guy like that especially is going to say, "Yeah, let me come to your office and sit down and listen to you talk for 30 minutes about, whatever you do," when I've bought, I don't know, 75 homes.
They don't need all that education. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. It's almost zero. You can't do that. Right. Or let's meet at Starbucks. It can't, not going to happen. That guy's going to be like turned off and like, whatever. But what if you said instead, "Okay, you want to see the house? Yeah. Tomorrow at 3:00 works for you. Works for me. Great. We can meet there. But here's what we're going to do first. Our sales process that our team is such that we always meet with somebody where they're at, what's convenient for them. If you want to meet at Starbucks, great. Otherwise, we'll hop on a Zoom, 15 minutes. We'll talk about how we operate when we represent someone in buying a house. I know you're very experienced, Mr. Buyer, so that's not the issue here. But we do need to go cover some housekeeping based ground rules that we go over with our clients every single time, just to make sure we're all on the same page, you're fully informed and educated, and we're all aligned. So would later today at 5 p.m. or whatever, right? Tomorrow morning at 8 a.m., whatever, would that work for you to hop on a Zoom 15 minutes quickly and go over that? And if he says, "Absolutely not. I'm not doing that. I just want to go look at the house. If you're not going to show me, I'll find someone else." Then now you know where you stand. Mm-hmm. Right? Okay. Then maybe you want to let him go find someone else. Or maybe you just want the experience. You don't have a lot going on. You're newer in the game, whatever. And maybe you just want to go do it anyways and just hope that he just loves you because you both love the, New York Yankees and you just come and bond, right? And then, voila, next he's renting a house on. So that's the sales process. Now, if you have someone who's relocating or you have someone who never bought a house before, then it's even more important because you can hop on there and you can go through the process. So what I tell everyone on our team is Zoom is free up to 40 minutes. Okay. So you don't even have to have a paid account if you don't want. Go sign up today for a free Zoom account. Know your username, know your password. It's even, and then when someone hops on a Zoom, you have that pulled up along with a couple different windows. You have a window pulled up of the document set of blank documents that the buyer will have to sign when seeing a property with you and or writing an offer. Like, agency disclosure, buyer brokers. Have a blank folder in your software, whether it's DocuSign, Transaction Desk, Dot Loop, whatever, ready to roll. Click on that, boom, got a window up, got the docs. Another window, the MLS, right? Get ready to search and show them properties online. The third window, your buyer presentation in a digital format, and they're ready to go. And now, think about even if you're on the phone talking to somebody cold, you're having a good conversation, right? They live in Indiana and they're looking to move to wherever, your city. And then you just go, hey, you know what? Do you got 15 minutes real quick? Why don't we just hop on a Zoom call? I'm going to show you something and we'll go through this, the process, right? And they go, maybe, yeah, sure, I do. Then you can just have everything in a subfolder ready to go, pull them up, bam. And they'll bear with you for a minute while you pull up Zoom, no problem. But the pivotal question that you want to always ask somebody, especially if you know or don't think they're experienced, is this. Has anyone ever taken the time to walk you through the process of how you buy a home in the state of Arizona? Or has anyone ever taken the time to walk you through the process of what it takes to buy a home in the post era from the NAR commission lawsuit that happened in 2024? And if people are halfway honest with you at all, they're going to say no. Because they might be on 72 auto searches from all these open houses they went through, right, with other agents, but they still have never sat down to take the time to walk that person through the process. And now when you ask that question and they say no, then you hop on a Zoom, you convert them through your sales process. If this works for a garage door company that's expanded into multiple states across the country, it's worth billions, then, and they get on a Zoom call to try to get you to agree to a signed agreement, then why would it not work for you? And why would you not do it?
And in all reality, garage door replacement or, fixing and all that can be costly, but it's still a much bigger emotional decision, financial decision for real estate. So it bears that much more weight. So if they're doing it and it's working that way and they take all of that time and process to go through that, definitely something that you should be doing in your business as well.
No question. Well said. Mic drop. We're done.
Absolutely. So like Kelly has said, or we've said, he's all about systems. Go back and watch all of our other episodes on different systems. This one we hadn't covered before. So I'm glad that Kelly kind of brought it up. Of course, there's probably a similar, slightly different system for on the listing side, right? Of course, listing presentation, all of that. But don't write off the buy side because it has been in the past treated a little bit more casually, like we said, where it, and don't let that process break down just because it's the buy side, right? Like still have something in place and follow it every time, right? That's the other thing with systems.
Yes.
Every time.
And by the way, Elizabeth, this is great practice, A, to help you convert a deal to get more closings and money in a market that's not, super easy right now. That's for sure. And B, there will be a time when the market does turn. And when it turns, it's going to be much harder to get sellers to pay your comp on the buy side. And so you want to have that dialed in with all this practice right now when they're, for the most part, willing to pay your comp when that happens.
Absolutely. Get those reps in now. Get your system down.
Bingo.
Well, if anybody has any questions about this or any other real estate topic, Kelly, where can they reach out to you?
Yeah, hit me up on Instagram. DM me, shoot me a follow, please, at Kelly Cook Homes, at Kelly Cook Homes.
At Kelly Cook Homes. Go check it out. And we will see you all next time for another episode. Bye, Kelly.
See you, Elizabeth.